my lovely peaches. It's Jen Peach. Today we're talking about the healthiest diet. What is the healthiest diet for humans in general? And yes, I know there's differences for all of us. We may have evolved a little bit differently and all of that, but ultimately, for most people, what would the diet be like? What is our ancestor diet, and what is the, not only what our ancestors were forced to eat and survive on, but what would ancestrally and biologically, what would we naturally thrive eating? Let's get into it. So I have a regenerative detox certification. I have nutritionist certifications with NASM, but of course I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a doctor, but I'm speaking from 12 years of experimenting on my own body, listening to nature, listening to my body, which is a part of nature, and also lots of my clients as well and their own experiences, and then all of the experience that we have now been able to experience collectively through watching each other's experiences through YouTube videos and independent research, right? So that's where this is coming from, just experience and research. What diet is healthiest for humans? What is our species specific diet? Where are we originally from, right? So when I first started to eat a healthier diet, I thought that the healthiest diet getting into health was chicken, rice, beans, like all whole foods of all foods, all things that I considered food, like chicken and dairy products and animal products and beans and rice and grains, veggies, fruits, everything, nuts, seeds. And I definitely felt a lot better than when I was eating those foods that would have also been processed, made into a cheeseburger, right? So it's a good step. But I still had very bad bloating, I still had very bad anxiety, depression, just didn't feel my best. Well, I did feel my best, but I didn't feel the best that I knew I really could. Then I went vegan. I felt way better than I felt on animal products and dairy especially. I was actually called Jennifer because of how bad my gas would get, not being able to digest dairy. And eggs even made me have like stinky farts. Then I discovered raw veganism, and all of a sudden I had felt like, first I just went 1 week and I felt how amazing I felt, and then anytime that I had cooked food I just didn't feel as good. Then later I was like, oh no, maybe because everybody's pushing carnivore, maybe you're supposed to have meat and maybe that is healthy. And I decided to try it and I got coronavirus right away, which was interesting, but it was actually forced in hospital. That's why I did have to try it. The ethical part was taken away because the food would have been thrown away, the animal was already dead. But regardless of that, just talking about health right now and not ethics, I was like, okay, like it kind of makes sense if you're in the woods to put some fish on like a fire on some logs and it will cook fine, but it doesn't really make sense to cook, say, rice, because it would get really dirty and like a mud. Even if you made like a hole in the ground and boiled that, get it hot, you couldn't really get the rice out after, it'd be all dirty. So I was like, okay, we're definitely not supposed to be eating grains, so maybe we're supposed to just eat lots of fruit and then in the evening have a salad with some meat or some eggs on it, and maybe not the dairy because that doesn't make sense to go and suck a cow's tits. So I was like, okay, maybe that's better, but you definitely don't feel better eating like that. And ultimately the thing that's getting people so confused is it's not just what is like naturally in nature all around the world. It's where are we actually meant to live? Where do we thrive naked? Where can humans with our physical bodies live nakedly, based on our hands and our feet? Only in the tropics, only in the sand can we be naked. Only in the sand can we walk barefoot without worrying, well, unless it's a stingray, but like compared to walking in a forest or something, or like rocks and mountains, that's not what our feet are designed for. And our hands are designed to grab fruit. We don't have claws for killing animals, right? And now today, so many people are still living out of that survival state of, okay, we're not in our natural environment, we need to kill things, or we need to cook starchy potatoes, make it into food when it's not even food, and make this, like, kill this animal, I'll get all bloody, and cook that and make that into food, because there's no food available. We don't have all this raw food growing in a sunny tropical environment. But nowadays, a lot of us can go and live in the tropics if we want to, and we can grow our own fruit, or we can pay for fruit to be transported to us. Tropical fruits, what we're designed to eat. And when we're eating ripe tropical fruits and enough of it, we are satisfied. We get to eat till we're physically and mentally full. We don't get bloated. We have energy that's consistent. We don't have blood sugar highs and lows. We don't have mood highs and lows. Everything is better. And yeah, you can still have lots of leafy greens, but you don't have to worry about going and cooking inedible, rooty vegetables and potatoes into food, because you have enough energy from the fruit, and you don't need to go and kill chickens and cows that aren't even in a tropical environment. You don't need to go into the ocean and fish out some fish. Instead, we can coexist with nature, not have to kill anything, not have to harm anything, not have to harm the environment, not have to harm ourselves, and not have to harm animals. We can live symbiotically and coexist with nature. Our most original natural diet is not what we ended up having to learn how to survive on through not being in our natural environment. It's what we would eat if we were in our natural environment, and the only natural environment that humans thrive in is a tropical environment. So eat tropical, raw, living fruit and foods. And I'm not even asking you to trust me here or trust what anyone else says online or to you in person. I'm asking you to trust your body, to trust nature, to trust your body that is a part of nature. A lot of people seem to think that experiencing the best of today's Western world is to eat all those junk foods, right? But really, we should be embracing the fact that we have an abundance of access to these tropical, delicious foods that your taste buds will adjust to, and that's going to be actually good for you. I mean, good on our ancestors. I'm glad that they ate something to stay alive. I am very, very thankful. However, I bet if they were here today, or if at that time even, they had access to as much fruit as we have now, and they didn't have access to all the machines and factory farms that we have for killing animals now, they wouldn't want to go and, when they can just pick a fruit, instead go and kill an animal, also risking their lives, and have to cook that animal, and it doesn't even taste as good as fresh, delicious fruit. Because I agree, apples and berries, even when they're wild, even when these are right off the tree, ripe, it's not really the most ideal food to live on. But tropical fruit, my friends, that's like next level, but this is still better than anything else. And arguably, when it's local like this, it could be even better than an imported tropical fruit. But another little note here, you don't always have to buy organic with fruits. If it's in a peel, like a banana or a mango, you're not going to eat those pesticides anyways. So don't worry about that, but obviously get organic berries. But then more importantly than organic, you want to get local, because it's better than the imported. So gotta look at all the factors, not just one of them, and hopefully tick one or all of the boxes: seeded, organic, local, tree ripe, and very ripe. Just laying down post-shower, one thing I want to throw in for those people that are going to say it. Yes, I know that some of the fruits and veggies today, they're not as natural as they used to be. They may be more hybridized. However, they're still the closest that we can get to the most abundant diet, the most natural diet, which is the frugivore diet. Plus, a lot of tropical fruits actually still have seeds, and even if they were super hybridized and not the best, that's exactly what the animal that you're eating would be eating too. So at least I'm not eating the dead animal, the unhealthy dead animal, should I mention, or the contaminated salmon, looking at our seas nowadays. And you know why the seas are contaminated? A lot of it would be from the runoff from agriculture, from the way we raise animals for food. And by the way, the animals also eat way more than we would have to eat of fruits and veggies to sustain ourselves. We're actually getting way less calories from the meat than we could get from the food that they eat. So let's just start to let the animals live wild, and let's live a little more wild and live a good, healthy life.